don't know what he's sitting down there.
I need to make an announcement that you need a number for the public hearing on 8C. So if everyone got a number for 8C, and the other two public hearings, I'll just do it by a show of hands. Okay? And you see, Rich outside the door has the numbers if someone didn't get it. Thank you. All right, the town council meeting, regular town council meeting, Monday, September 23rd, 2019, at 7:30 shall commence. Please stand for our prayer.
I ask you all to bear with me. I'm suffering about a category 3 cold here. As we bow our heads to pray, may each of us thank our Creator for the privilege of living in and serving our community. We ask for wisdom and guidance in any and all decisions. We also ask for protection of the members of our armed forces. Pray for their safe return and give strength to their loved ones. These we ask in thy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go Navy.
Council Chair Mayor Patrick T. Riley.
Here.
Vice Chair Steve Ribbit.
Here.
Council members Grant Hall.
Here.
Brian Bale.
Here.
Dick Horn.
Here.
Danny White.
Here.
Town Administrator Matt Stinnett.
Here.
Town Attorney Carl Bone.
Here.
Town Engineer Morris Smith.
Here.
Town Planner Todd Mowry.
Here, ma'am.
Building Department Manager Deneen Shearer.
Here.
I'm the Town Clerk Treasurer Debbie Ring. For the record, the Fire Chief is also.
All right, is there any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda? I have one. I need a motion to untable item 8C, ordinance 2019-08.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried 5-0. Any other changes? All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the regular town council meeting minutes of September 9th, 2019.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried 5-0. All right, move on to attorney's report.
Nothing tonight.
Thank you. Move on to staff report. Matt? Chief Foley.
Good evening, everybody. I'll be brief. From 8:2 to 8:8, we had a total of 7 calls, 5 EMS, 2 public assist. From 8:9 to 8:15, total of 9 calls, 6 EMS, 2 motor vehicles with injury, 1 public assist. From 8:16 to 8:22, 5 EMS, 1 public assist, 1 control burn, 1 canceled around, 3 false calls. From 8:23 to 8:29, 1 brush fire, 2 EMS calls, 1 public service, 1 canceled around, total of 5 calls. That was from the month of August. We had 18 EMS, 2 canceled en route, 5 public assist, 2 motor vehicles with injury, 3 false calls, 2 control burns, 1 brush fire. 32 calls. For the total of the month, we had 53 calls. Any questions?
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Madam Clerk?
I have nothing.
Move on to public comments. I have a card from Carlene Conroy. Please state your name and address for the record.
Can you call me? Yes. We're getting an echo out there, so it's hard to understand what you're saying. Carlene Conroy, Alexander Lane in Malabar. I would like to talk to somebody here at the town about a really simple and inexpensive remodel to make this room bigger. So who would that be? Remodel to make this room bigger.
Taxes.
Yeah, taxes.
Up the taxes.
Okay, thank you. I already put my letter in the public hearing.
All right, we'll move on to public hearing. 8A ordinance 2019-11, setting the millage for fiscal year 1920, second reading. Please read by title only.
An ordinance of the Town of Malabar, Brevard County, Florida, adopting the millage rate of 2.2680 for the levy of ad valorem tax within the town for the period from October 1, 2019 through September 30th, 2020, providing for an effective date.
Okay, thank you. Staff have any comments?
No.
I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Public hearing.
I'm sorry. I'll open up the public hearing. Anyone from this public wish to speak? Public hearing closed. I'll entertain a motion for approval of ordinance 2019-11.
I'll make that motion.
Any discussion? All right, we'll do a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Ball.
Aye.
Councilmember Vale.
Aye.
Councilmember Ribbit.
Aye.
Councilmember Corn.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you. All right, move to ordinance 2019-12, adopting budget for fiscal year 1920, second reading. Please read by title only.
Sorry.
That's all right.
An ordinance of the Town of Malabar, Brevard County, Florida, adopting the budget of $2,204,996 for the fiscal period from October 1, 2019 through September 30th, 2020, providing for an effective date. Section 1, the Town Council in regular session duly assembled adopt the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget of $2,204,996, consisting of $1,910,996 for the general fund expenditures and $294,000 in approved expenditures for stormwater projects funded through non-ad valorem fees and FDEP financing.
Thank you. I'll open up the public hearing. Anyone from the public wish to speak? Close the public hearing. Does staff have any comments?
Just, you guys have provided for a really good budget this year, helped us get a lot of stuff done, so thank you.
I'll entertain a motion for the approval of ordinance 219.
I'll move to approve the ordinance. I'll second.
Any further discussion? We'll do a roll call vote.
Councilmember Ball.
Aye.
Councilmember Vale.
Aye.
Councilmember Ribbit.
Aye.
Councilmember Corn.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Motion carried 5-0.
All right, we'll move on to ordinance 2019-08, land use and zoning change.
Mr. Chair, could I ask that you guys speak into your mics so that I can't turn it up anymore, we'll get feedback, but they're not needing to pick up outside. So, thank you. Sorry.
Right, this will be a quasi-legislative decision by council. A agenda item 10, so I'll ask Debbie to please read by title only.
An ordinance of the Town of Malabar, Brevard County, Florida, amending land use map and zoning map for the .31 acre plus or minus on the east side of Highway 1 in Township 28 South, Range 38 East, Section 31, Parcel 250.4, Malabar, Florida, from coastal preserve to commercial general, providing for amendment to the official town land use and zoning map, providing for an effective date.
I'll call the petitioners up to the podium, please. Please state your name and your residence in this town or city that you live in.
I'm Jeffrey Smith. Jeffrey Smith, attorney, from 1499 South River City Boulevard, Melbourne, Florida. I represent the petitioners, Stuart and Nancy Borden. It's great to see democracy in action. I love it. There's a lot of people here. There was a lot of people here on the first reading of this ordinance, and I am not going to belabor the points. I think everything that could possibly be said about this ordinance was said. I'll simply leave you with this. We're talking about a very small parcel of property and a proven track record of a citizen who wants to do a good thing for your community. And I just urge you to, as you did in the first reading, approve the ordinance. And I think Mr. Mowry may cover all the points, but for the same reasons the staff has recommended approval, we would recommend approval. Thank you.
Stuart Borden from 905, I'm with Yellow Dog Cafe at 905 US Highway 1.
Is that where you reside? I need your residence and your town, please.
950 US Highway 1, Malabar Road.
Thank you.
Malabar. US Highway 1, thank you all for hearing this second reading. Thank you for your vote the first time around. Many of you here tonight are against. Many of the participants here tonight are against people in the audience. I just want the audience to know that for the last 20 years, I've been working with organizations like the Indian River Lagoon. I see many of you here have Indian River Lagoon stickers on them. Year after year after year after year, for the last 20 years, many of you have been at my lagoon, or at my restaurant,
Point of order.
at the fundraiser.
Point of order. We are here tonight to discuss how council votes on this and not about the people.
You can't speak.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I appreciate your input.
You're not allowed to speak about this at this time.
Addressing the council.
I have been working with the Indian River Lagoon for decades. We've done fundraiser after fundraiser to help the lagoon.
Oh my God, this is a.
And the folks here seem to think that we're out to kill the lagoon. Thank God you folks here know that that's not the case. We're here for the lagoon, or trying to help the lagoon be. Shut the camera off?
Show the camera. I said show the camera. Point of order.
Chairman, who's running the show? Is it the
How do you
owner
think
or
about
are you?
I'm running. Just continue.
Go ahead.
Please stay on the land.
Yeah, the land that we're trying to do is small. It's 20,000, a little over 20,000 square feet. And we like I was saying, we have done so much for the lagoon. We continue to work in harmony with the lagoon for what we're trying to do. And listen, you're very distracted. Very distracted. But thank you. I'm looking forward to hearing all of
You're
you.
off point.
Stay on track.
Stay on the land.
I'm done here. Thank you very much for the folks that voted for this. I appreciate it. I appreciate the council because I know you guys take a lot of strife. No matter what you do to try to make the town go in the direction that we want it to go, and you're hearing from a very small majority, a small vocal minority of people that make your life miserable. But thank you very much for standing up for what's right.
Come on.
I have a question. I mean, the point about the Indian River Lagoon has been brought up in these emails and complaints, and he's just trying to address his care for the Indian River Lagoon. So how is that out of order? It is. Well, then why didn't you say so?
No, I did. I didn't.
He
did continue.
He said,
Okay.
you didn't gavel that.
All right. Any further questions for the?
It's just kick that.
Thank you. I'll open up the public hearing. The agenda item tonight is to approve the zoning map and land use change from the coastal reserve to commercial general. The decision that would be made tonight by the town council is only related to the parcel of land and not the landowner. The landowner can sell the parcel tomorrow, but the zoning map and land use change will always stay with the parcel of land. You are invited up to the podium when I call your name. Please state your address and city or the town that you reside. For the record, you can only address council, do not address the public. You need to stay on the agenda item topic and strictly address the zoning and land use change. You can address the commercial, general, allowable uses of the parcel. If you go off topic, I will gavel you and please stay on the agenda item topic. If you continue to go off the topic, I will ask you to leave the podium and allow the next speaker to speak. Right, for whoever has number one, please come up to the podium. And you have 5 minutes.
Richard Kovac, Hall Road, District 3, and I'd like the council's indulgence to read the preamble to the charter, which really germane to what's going on here. The people of the town of Malabar desire to maintain a rural residential quality of life in their town, and they're concerned about the possibility of uncontrolled growth in the future affecting that type of lifestyle.
Mr. Chairman?
This needs to be given to us.
Gavel that.
The people of the town of Malabar are concerned that the power to govern their town remain vested in the duly elected town council. Therefore, they ratified by referendum this charter and enacted it into law. They wish to maintain the rural residential character of their community. Furthermore, having complete faith in representative government with the ultimate power to government remaining within themselves, they desire to codify the recent history of Malabar, which has been the practice of vesting the decision-making power of the town 5-member council elected by 5 single districts. We're here tonight to remind you that the ultimate power to govern remains with the people, and you, the councilmen, are elected specifically to represent us and to do what we expect of you. The board's request to rezone coastal preserve to commercial flies in the face of the current Malabar comprehensive and future land use plans, which were earnestly worked on for years and years and which were approved by the state of Florida. The request was soundly rejected by the Planning and Zoning Committee, and their finding is now being rejected by you. Seriously? On what basis are you ignoring Planning and Zoning's recommendation? I request answers to that question. The Bortons have 0.6 acre of commercial property, twice the size of the 0.3 in discussion, on the west side of US 1, can be used without ruining the riverfront, still have a view of the river, and parking is available. If you go ahead with the request, you are dooming the riverfront of the town of Malabar for the financial benefit of a select few and creating a dire precedent that would domino down the coastal preserve of Malabar, defacing and destroying what is an essential spirit of immeasurable value to the residents of rural community here. If you vote for this ordinance, will have betrayed and sold out the town of Malabar. You will leave that as your ugly legacy. Danny White stated he got residents' opinions that were 60% against this. Danny, aren't you in fact on council to represent your constituents? Under what considerations are you voting in opposition to your constituents? One argument you'll hear is about combining this 0.3 acre with adjoining work property. By Article 12, Section 1-12.5 of the Land Development Code, you're limited to the specific 10 stated criteria. Thus, you cannot vote a zoning change based on potential future actions by the property owner. I request that you vote against this zoning change.
Please keep it, no comment. Number 2.
Hi, I'm Colleen Allen. I live at 1285 Hall Road, and I'm here to voice my strongest objection to the rezoning of this property to commercial general. Myself, Malabar. I'm sorry, I'm not feeling well either. I've got a cold, so hopefully I make it through this. Myself, and with the help of some awesome people, we went out and spoke to the residents, and they were against this rezoning as well, for the same reasons I'm going to talk about tonight. I'd appreciate a little leeway if I go over the 5 minutes. I am representing 485 Malabar residents that we do have signatures for on our petition to stop this. Plus, we also obtained 78 non-residents that live around us that have seen this happen as well, that do not want this.
Just for the record, you said 485 town Malabar.
Town Malabar.
And 78 others.
Non-residents, yes, sir. We are also prepared to go forward with an official petition according to Article 5 to put this on the ballot, costing the town up to $5,000 so the residents of Malabar can officially vote this down. For the first, this property does not meet the 3 Cs. For rezoning to commercial general, it is not consistent or compatible with the comprehensive land use map. This property is designated coastal preserve to never be developed. Ordinances 7176, 71279, and under Chapter 5, Policy 1.2.3 states the town shall maintain the coastal designation along the shoreline parcels and ensure these parcels are restricted to water access uses. Also, it's not consistent or compatible with the town's preamble to maintain the rural residential quality of life in this town. Preserves are just one of the things that maintains our rural identity. Furthermore, Section 2.17 ordinances states the council shall have the power to pass ordinances not inconsistent with our charters or our comprehensive land use map. I believe this proposed ordinance is inconsistent with our charter and comprehensive land use map. Also, the property does not meet capability requirements as stated by planning and zoning and according to our code of ordinances. It does not meet the minimum size, which is actually 20,000 square feet, but it should be a half an acre, this is not a half an acre, it's a third. It does not meet the setback requirements for commercial general. After reviewing the video from the first hearing, we are very disappointed in those that did vote yes. You offered no supporting evidence for your vote other than personal feelings. All of you agreed that the lot, as is not buildable without variances that they may not even be able to get. Also, Councilmember White, you did state that 60% of those that you talked to were against this rezoning. I was one of them, and my husband. But you feel that our concerns are unfounded.
That's not true.
He further states that he is voting yes because he likes the Bortons in their cafe.
That's not true.
Oh, my dear.
He said it.
No, you can't.
Okay.
You can't.
County,
He has the right to defend himself.
He does that at the end.
at the end, he can. Councilmember Corn, you said that you think a boutique hotel would be great for Malabar. We don't disagree with you, just not on the expensive coastal preserve. Councilmember Ritter voted yes because he feels Malabar needs more areas for commercial development. We disagree. We need to develop the commercial properties we already have in place before we even think of going outside our comprehensive land use map. We do not fear growth, as some have said. We are all in agreement with the comprehensive land use map and where commercial development should be. along the west side of US Highway 1, not the east side. The comprehensive land use map took many years to be completed because there were so many factors to take into consideration. But the one you put out is the one that you put out is great and a workable map. The residents of this town did not dispute this map, and with this map, Coastal Preserve was never under consideration to be developed. The state even agreed with this map. To change a zoning as extreme as this one goes against everything this town believes in. Malabar does not have limited growth potential. If anyone wants to build in our town, all they have to do is look at our map, and they will know where and what they can build, and will not meet resistance from the residents. It is this council's responsibility to follow the charters and ordinances that are in place. These charters and ordinances are there to help you make a sound decision for this town. The council talks about economic effects. This devastating rezoning will not bring enough money to this town, but will have long-term disastrous results to this town's future. Everyone agrees to commercial growth, but there's a line we won't cross, and giving Coastal Preserve away is a line no one should cross. This council should not be making personal decisions that go against our charter, ordinances, and what the residents of Malabar want. This is not the place to make decisions that benefit yourselves or your friends. This rezoning is not about the Bortons, their cafe, or a hotel. It is about Coastal Preserve being changed to commercial general. But this lot does not meet minimum size of a half an acre, does not comply with the setback requirements, and most importantly, it's not buildable. We don't call it a lot. I've seen it. It's a slope into the Indian River. So we have to question the motives of this change. By adjoining this 0.3 Coastal Preserve to the existing commercial general property to the north, the Yellow Dog Cafe, they'll make this property meet the minimum size requirements, allowing this property to be sold, cafe torn down, and who knows what will be built. Council member Bale said it best, opening Pandora's box.
5 minutes?
We understand. I asked for leeway, ma'am.
No, I gave her, she's speaking for 485 people, so I gave her leeway.
Oh, come on, he's speaking for his business, and you got him in.
We understand that we are not to consider the what-ifs.
We already know how you feel, man.
Excuse me?
Keep going, keep speaking.
There's
485 people other than her that feel the same way.
Where's the town? You live here.
So
I live here.
Okay, I gave her the right to speak for 485.
Of course you did.
So we're talking about an hour and a half,
Okay.
2 hours right now.
Jeff could come up and speak the rest of it. Keep going, please. Keep
Thank you,
going.
sir, I will. We understand that we are not to consider the what-ifs, but you three have considered the Bortons, their cafe, and a possible hotel in your yes vote. It is only human that you feel some sort of obligation to those you are friends with. But when you accepted your appointment to council, you chose to be the voice of the people, and not only your personal relationships, and not allow your personal relationship or emotions to get in the way of what the residents of Malabar expect from you. You must put the needs of the residents before your own. If you feel you can't do that, then maybe this isn't the right place for you. Remember, this is about Coastal Preserve. It is not about emotions, feelings, friendships, or what a few individuals want. It's about the majority. We respect all of you for stepping up to represent the residents of Malabar. We know it can't be easy being pulled in so many different directions, but your decisions should be based on supported documentation, which you can find from planning and zoning, the town's charters, and ordinances. If you follow those, your decision is simple. No on this proposed ordinance. This town is looking to you to make the right decision. We put our rural residential quality of life in your hands when we voted you in. Please do not let us down now. Thank you.
Does the council get that? Danny first.
No, you need to time the people, everyone exactly the same, and be fair to everyone who speaks. If you're gonna have a 5-minute limit, make sure it takes all of it, or we'll be here way in the morning.
Point of order.
The point of order is you can't do your timing like you said.
Danny has. Go ahead.
You go there.
Okay. First off, I never met the Bortons until they filed this request. I don't know them. It's unfair to say that I'm doing this because I like them or that I know them or I'm friends with them. I have no knowledge of who these people are. I've eaten at the Yellow Dog Cafe 4 times. When we were looking at property here, I asked the realtor, where's a good place to get lunch? She said, right down the road is the best restaurant in Brevard County. I went there, I was impressed. So I've been there on, let's see, my anniversary, my birthday, and I took both my mother and my mother-in-law there for Mother's Day. Okay? All right. When I was going around getting signatures to get me on the ballot, I asked people about this. Okay? I talked to 15 people, and I just wagged it. I said about 60% of them were against it. Okay? I feel like it's important to consider the property rights of the owner also. That is significant compared to just the will of the masses too. Okay? All right. Now I know that this is a big issue, but I also know that the ability to unify the title is, well, first off, when you're saying, forget about, you don't even know what point of order is, ma'am. Okay? You yelled that the other night, and no, because the point of order is when a rule is being violated.
You cannot talk about joining the properties.
Yes,
I can.
Yeah, you're not the chairman.
I'm the chairman, I will control the meeting, not you.
But to say that I voted this way the first time just because of feelings is wrong. I asked the question.
Danny, please.
Okay, all right. All right, okay, the other thing I thought about and what I asked about was this commercial general on 2 sides. One adjoining them, one across the street, okay? And then next to it is another coastal preserve property, all right? They are also hooked up on Palm Bay water and sewer. So I'm having a hard time seeing how this affects the Indian River Lagoon quality, all right?
I didn't bring up the Indian River
These are all facts.
I didn't bring up the Indian River.
Okay, but none of this can be shared by any other coastal preserve property along the town of Malibu.
Does that make it right?
Well, no, but the argument is. Listen,
I'm sorry.
the argument is it's going to do this domino effect. Because as soon as you do this, every other thing is going to fall in place. All right. But no, when they said I just voted on feelings, these are facts. Okay. All right. And excuse me for making a faux pas.
And I'm sorry if I missed, but I watched the first hearing, and you didn't base it on any of those facts, other than that you liked the restaurant, and you thought the burgers were good people. And you did, and it's on the video. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I said that anybody that runs a successful restaurant has to be good people. Okay. I'm sorry, that's true.
And you know what, I think this is about the people.
Well, my point of order,
No for that. You don't have any?
I'm not speaking to her, I'm
Okay,
speaking to you.
that's all I
No,
have.
I'm speaking to you. Mr. Chairman, you said
You missed the first thing, she asked for extended time. I
Doesn't
gave her
make any
extended
difference.
time. She was speaking.
you're gonna give everybody here tonight, extended time, should be fair to everybody.
Next, number 3.
Mr. Chair, can I say something?
Yeah.
Let's, as the chair said, let's keep this on track. We gave a little leeway at the last council meeting, and in order to prevent this thing from going to 3 o'clock in the morning, please keep the comments focused only on the rezoning. No more, the Gordons are good, the Gordons bad, it doesn't matter, okay? It's irrelevant. Secondly, when the audience interrupts a speaker or the council, it's just causing unnecessary delay. Save your comments for later after the speaker speaks. If you think that interrupting the council is going to sway the council one way or another, in my 30 years of experience, it doesn't work, okay? Lastly, we do have council policies and procedures for hearings. One of them, if I recall correctly, allows for extended time
for a person representing a large group. Okay, so that's there. So, you know, please, guys, you know, this is going to go down a rabbit hole you don't want to go down. If we can stay on point and focus on the issue, I mean, not that I support or don't support what Pauline, is that what you said? Colleen said. She made a presentation that we should all look to follow, that type of presentation. It was, actually, it wasn't about how great somebody is or how bad somebody is. You know, those are the kinds of presentations we need. So if we can keep it focused and, you know, keep whatever attacks may be there or may not be there, just keep them out. It doesn't matter. It's not going to sway a vote one way or another. So we're trying to keep this as civil as possible if we can. And if we just focus on that issue, this is going to go a long way to getting this thing moved along. Okay? So that's all I have to say. I mean, I kept my mouth shut long enough.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to address the town council on this issue. My name is Keith Kessler, 460 Hall Road, Malabar, Florida, 29-year resident of Malabar. I moved here for the rural residential environment that we have. I look at the abandonment of some of the coastal preserve, and I don't believe we're ever going to get any more of that. It's not like we can mitigate it by adding the coastal preserve to the town. I do enjoy the view of driving down Route 1, seeing the river. I do enjoy the community that we live in here. That would be the sum total of what I'd like to bring before the board. Please consider this carefully because we're never going to get it back to this commercial. Thank you.
Number 4.
Don Danielson, 1690 Hall Road.
What town?
Malabar, Florida.
Yeah, we need to know the towns.
Okay. I was going to read the preamble, but you've already heard it from another speaker. To that I offer a variation on a statement about the Constitution made famous by Patrick Henry. The Town of Malabar Charter is not a document for the council to restrain the people. It is an instrument for the people to restrain the council. The high point of my speaking tonight is Article 3, District Provisions, Section 1-3.3, Commercial General Size and Dimension Criteria. This code requires minimum dimensions for size, width, and depth of any commercial general parcel. The parcel under consideration meets only one of those 3 requirements. The size requirement in the regulations is 20,000 square feet. The size requirement of the size of this parcel, 2.205.4, is 13,504 square feet. The depth, according to the regulations, must be 150 feet. This parcel varies between 45 and 65 feet, nowhere near 150 feet in depth. The width requirement is 100 feet and their width is 245 feet. The basic non-compliance with our code is sufficient to deny the zoning change by voting no on this ordinance. We residents sincerely appreciate the long, hard effort that went into both the comprehensive plan and the future land use by both planning and zoning and this council and prior councils, because we saw them as logical, rational, and sound in their expansion of commercial along the major corridors. For whatever reasons, your packets about ordinance 2019-08 were missing a significant part of the documentation, including in the planning and zoning packets for the same subject, and upon which planning and zoning made their decision to deny this application for zoning change. You might wish to go back and read the agenda packet for July 24th, 2019, for the planning and zoning meeting to see what you missed. I'd like to talk a little bit more about the Land Development Code. Article 1, Section 1-1.2, legislative authority and binding effect states that according to Florida Statute 163, mandating that lower government shall adopt land development regulations that are consistent with and implement their adopted comprehensive plan. Section 1-1.4, consistency with comprehensive plan, states the Town of Malabar Land Development Code pursuant to Florida Statutes 163-3201 and 3204 is adopted to assist in carrying out the desired general policies of the comprehensive plan. This ordinance is not consistent with the comprehensive plan. I don't know if you want me to hand these out, Mayor, or not, but it clearly shows how this parcel does not meet the size and...
Give it to the clerk.
If you want it part of the record, then submit it, please.
I thank you very much for your time.
All right, number 5. Number 5. Coming up.
Deborah Ball, 1190 South US Highway 1, Malabar, Florida, 32950.
Can't hear you. And short. Thank you. Short.
Is this better?
Yes.
I spoke against the request for rezoning from coastal preservation to commercial general at the planning meeting on July 24th and the town hall meeting following on August 19th. Even though the planning and zoning members were against the change by 4-1 and presented that negative recommendation to council, the zoning change was approved. The facts have not changed. There is already a parking problem for the restaurant. Patrons must park on the west side of US 1 if the river parking is full. There would be even less parking space available if the building were to be built on the parcel in question. The subject property is not very large. As others have said, I learned during the planning and zoning meeting it doesn't meet the minimum requirements for square footage for commercial property, and furthermore, the setbacks required from US 1 to the river would not permit the building to be built. Increased traffic. Guests of the proposed hotel might choose to park on the west side of the highway, as do some restaurant patrons. Numbers mentioned during the previous meetings regarding the size of the proposed hotel range between a possible 12 rooms to as few as 4 rooms. I hate to say this, but no one else wants someone else to die by crossing US 1. Valet parking was offered at the time when the 2 people passed away. So, subsequent to that time, traffic lights were installed, then the painted crosswalk was added soon afterward. Not everyone who crosses the highway bothers to push the button and stop the traffic. Not every driver slows down in that area. Some drivers who have stopped for the flashing lights have been rear-ended while stopped. My husband and I own 4 houses in the Riverview Home subdivision located behind the Gordon's warehouse. We bought our first house there in late 1984, and we've known the Gordons since about 97 when we bought the restaurant, as they also lived in the neighborhood. Some of our properties abut their commercial property, and we are not always in agreement with modifications they make, as sometimes they negatively affect our properties. Many homeowners of the Riverview Home subdivision spoke against the zoning change during the July 24th planning and zoning meeting. In general, each homeowner mentioned views of the river. While I understand that views of such are not guaranteed, 4 days later on Sunday the 28th, the Bortons apparently took action to obstruct the river view as they planted a large number of trees on the edge of the land south of the restaurant. The coastal preservation zone is good for Malabar. It helps maintain the rural nature of the town. I feel it would conflict with the reason for which many people moved here. Malabar is unique with its river views and commercial-free waterfront. Looking back at some town information, a mailbox
Volume 16, number 2, fourth quarter of 2010, page 2. Nancy was running again for town council. And I quote her say at the time, she loves the town, I want it to continue as it is. In Malabar, if you want to live in a rural setting with horses and cows and large acreage, you can.
This is about zoning.
If you want to live in a subdivision, you can do that. And we have a beautiful riverfront that we get to drive by every day. It's quiet, it's awesome.
What did you want?
That was her quote. Finally, in the previously mentioned meetings, many friends of the Hortons spoke in glowing terms on their behalf. I would ask that council members disregard comments from anyone who does not live in or own property in the town of Malabar. Council decisions should not be swayed by cheerleaders who have no skin in the game.
Thank you. Number 6. Yeah, number 7, get ready. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Laura Pasula, and I live at 1850 Sandy Creek Lane, Malabar, Florida. Esteemed board members and residents, I'm here to speak on behalf of Nancy and Stuart's request to build a hotel adjacent to their restaurant, the Yellow Dog Cafe. For over 20 years, they've provided fine dining for our town and helped put Malabar, Florida on the map. Since moving to Malabar a few years ago, I have been fortunate to make their acquaintance after our daughter was hired by them. Her job was an invaluable experience for a teenager. And more importantly, I was able to see how Nancy and Stuart care about their restaurant and their staff, and that everyone's treated like family. Their request to build an inn is one that I feel should go forward. This is not some unknown out-of-state corporation looking to build a large hotel. These are local people that have lived across the road from their restaurant and have a vested interest in our town. For those concerned about the impact to the Indian River, there already exists city water and sewer, and most of the land is already zoned commercial in the area. Overall, I think this is an excellent opportunity for the town of Malabar to support local residents to grow their business, which in turn will lead to a stronger tax base for our town. I thank you for your time and consideration.
Number 7.
Excuse me, short, 2240 Ivy Lane, Malabar, Florida. I understand that this lot is a negative lot. It does not meet the requirements. With the setbacks, it's very simple. There is no land left. It's negative. Also, the lot has a slope. This slope is designed to contain the river. If you destroy all these slopes, we're lucky. We live in a place where there's a ridge that goes down the river and helps to contain the river and keep flooding at a minimum and not damage US 1. This is important. The tax base was brought up. I think the Bortons contributed a little bit over $1,200 to the town every year. That's not much money. It certainly isn't worth selling out our coastal preserve for.
Amen.
Amen. That's all I have to say. Thank you for listening.
Also, number 8.
Number 8.
Number 8, number 9.
I'm number 9.
Okay. Okay, come on.
Number 8 here?
No, 8.
They call it out there.
It's all right, they'll come up, they can come up here. We're going to keep going.
Hello, my name is Marissa Aquaviva, 1120 Baywood Court, Malabar, Florida. I spoke to you all, I'm speaking to the council You have the decision. It is a strong council form of government. I think we've heard both sides. A little disappointed in Stuart not being able to speak tonight and all of that. And then I don't think anybody has been pointing order to anybody else here tonight. So that's disconcerting that that happened, that we really didn't get to hear him speak. Okay. Just, you know, you have the power, you were voted in. I will say this, that I live in Country Cove subdivision for 26 years. Nobody came to my neighborhood. I believe there's pushing 2,000 people in this town. Nobody knocked on any doors where I live. Well, I'm
Just the council.
I don't know anybody that I've actually talked to people in my neighborhood. Also, I don't think it represents the majority. And I know some people were knocked on doors at 8 o'clock at night on a Sunday night, and were told they didn't want to sign it, and were told, you know, try to be talked into it. So I don't like what's going on here.
Who was that?
I'm not naming it, but I have names. Come on,
Keep quiet. She has the floor.
Yeah, and so these are the kinds of things that are going on that that doesn't make me proud. And I am here for my support of the Bortons and their property. I look at it as their business, and it's an addendum to their business. I don't look at it as a separate entity. And I think I voiced this before, and I just hope that, you know, you vote for that. Thank you.
Number 8?
Number 10.
10, okay, number 10.
Can everybody hear? I gotta say, I'm very scared to come up here and talk tonight. It's very hostile in here. I'm on Homestead Lane in Malabar. I was originally born and raised here. I've been here. Oh, Regina Rodriguez, sorry about that. I was born and raised here. Lived in Malabar my whole life. I went away to school, decided to start my family here. Have a young daughter, and, you know, we love the rural aspect of this town, but when there's new things that can come in or any kind of growth that can happen, I think it's a good thing. The Bortons have been here for almost 23 years. They've only done a good service to this town. They've been on the river. They could have built their building up way high a long time ago, blocked things, done things. People want to talk about putting a hotel in their parking lot. Somebody lives in the neighborhood right behind there, and I'm sure that there would be resistance with that as well. So I don't think there's any pleasing everybody here. I think that they've done only good things in this town with their business and employing people and bringing money to this town and, you know, good things. And it should be rezoned for their business. This is about the rezoning of it, and they should be able to grow their business. And I think that nobody should be intimidated to do anything with signs, with knocking on doors, because I was a house that got accosted for that, and there's no reason that I should be scared of my house getting knocked on the door at nighttime with my young daughter. So I don't like the tactics that are being used, and, you know, it's unsettling because of the reason that you move to this town is because it's quiet and there should be good people, and, you know, I would like to see more of that. So thank you. I think it should be rezoned.
Number 12 would be next.
Hi, my name is Michelle Marcinkowski. I live on Greenboro Drive in West Melbourne, Florida. I'm not from Malabar, but I work for Nancy and Stuart. I don't know zoning laws and regulations and statutes, but I will say in working with these people, I see every day what they contribute in many different ways to their community.
I don't think we disrespectful. Let's focus on
Malabar, it is beautiful. Malabar is beautiful. The Indian River is beautiful. Maybe this is too simplified, but this is not, it doesn't appear to be a matter of a skyscraper or a biker bar. For goodness sake, it's a third of an acre. And it would be tasteful and bring income and resources to the town. I think it would be done tastefully, and I just really don't see any negative. I support them 100%.
Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Bruce Johnson. I live at 2510 Williams Avenue, Malabar, Florida. And anyway, I was just concerned because once you give our coastal away, we'll never get it back. And so I'm definitely for keeping our current zoning and not commercial zoning. Thank you.
13.
Good evening. I'm Julie Kim, I reside at 2730 Rocky Point Road, Malabar, Florida, District 2. Mr. Mayor, council members, here I am. I was a former council member. During my previous tenure, the objective of the town of Malabar was to retain a rural residential place to live. In keeping with the town objectives, there is a petition on this matter with over 400 town people's signature and the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Committee not to change the coastal preservation zoning and to protect the aquatic preserve that waters our town. I would like to ask the town council members to represent the town people's wishes and reject the zoning change. If you can't represent the people, either abstain from voting or step down from council. Thank you. Liz Ritter, 2860 Orange Avenue, Malabar, Florida. My first thing is I'd like to object to the wording on the ordinance 2019-08, section 1. Says the town council has considered the recommendation of planning and zoning board and approves the land use. I think it should read the council has considered the denial recommendation of planning and zoning board, but in disagreement approves the land use. It's a little deceptive the way that it's worded right now.
Did you catch that?
It can be read either way.
That's consistent with how the charter says that, and the code says that the council shall consider the recommendations of the PNC.
Okay.
It doesn't say.
Okay, the way it's stated, it just seems a little deceptive. It makes it appear that the planning and zoning board accepted it when in fact it was denied through.
Okay, we'll have it as discussion.
Okay.
The record reflects what PNC was against.
Okay, so a lot of people have already gone over a lot of the other things, so I don't have to go through a lot of that here. The lot, as you know, from planning and zoning, we have mentioned that it does not meet the size. You have the map layout there, and just for my own consideration, I checked all of the different zonings. There isn't a single zoning in our town that this would meet the minimum, not even RS10. It meets the lot size, but not the setback. So there's not a single zoning in our comprehensive plan and in our charts that would allow this. It doesn't meet any of the setbacks. Okay? We don't consider the Yellow Dog, we don't consider the Bortons. That's a separate entity. This is about the 0.3 acres. That's to be rezoned. So I think they've done a great job here so far. I know that all three that have voted priorly to approve this, none of which represent anybody in District 1 or 2 who actually live on the riverside and own property there. I live on the riverside, and everybody that I've talked to that has property there does not want to see coastal preserve changed. We'd like this amendment denied.
there's no effect on the cafe right now, the way it is, so, and there's other options that they can do. So I'd like it reflected in the minutes that I am in favor of the denial. Thank you.
Number 15.
My name is Regan O'Rourke, 141 Riverview Drive, Malabar. And I'm here just to reiterate just exactly the same points that were raised by the first and second speaker, which I entirely support. And just to note that I think your predecessors in establishing the reserve were very foresighted. And I don't think it's appropriate to change the nature of a preserve to allow for development along this property. It's too valuable, it's not replaceable, and there's plenty of land commercially available for construction within the town. So, thank you.
16 and then 17.
Stephen E. Chalmers, 2160 Winbrook Drive.
Please address the council. You gotta speak this council.
City. Stephen E. Chalmers, 2160 Winbrook Drive, Palm Bay, Florida. Wearing the famous dreaded dolphin black shirt, and I don't know it has magical powers. I'm representing the Marine Resources Council.
Please speak.
Is emphatically here to address the council. Against, I understand now. Thank you very much for reminding me. Which is emphatically recommends denial of the petition this evening. I, as a long-term resident of Malabar, appreciate very much what this town stands for. It's not a stick in the mud. It should be denied a stake in the ground. This is a decision that will influence the rest of the history of this town forever. You will never get it back. The coastal preserve, which the foresight of the citizens put together, I understand in 1977, was a brilliant mark that they said for the future, that this place should be special. When you drive up Route 1, it's branded in your mind. Malabar is something you remember. You remember Melbourne. It's no different than anything else between here in Jacksonville and down to Miami. Do you remember other places, Titusville? No. But Malabar, the big spreading oak tree right there alone, is something that you're really approving to have cut down someday. That sailboat there actually is a real sailboat. It actually delivered real mail. Everybody else on the lagoon's got a sailboat in their emblem too, but they don't know what it comes from. It doesn't stand for anything. Ours does, yours does. And you're throwing that out when you would accept this thing. It seems insignificant. A commercial corridor? You gotta be kidding. This is Malabar, Florida.
Hi, my name is David Ness, 353 Breckenridge Circle, Palm Bay, Florida. I'm only going to talk for 1 minute. I work Sunday night. I do work for student Nancy Boring. I'm their general manager. I work Sunday night. This is about zoning, so I work Sunday night. I'm very big on preservation. Love animals. I love living here in this part of Florida. Sunday night when I worked, there was at least 120 people sitting out on that beautiful deck enjoying the river. I love animals. Dolphins are always out there. There's always the pelicans on their boardwalk. The Bortons take very good care of the front of that river. They let nothing happen to that river. And I don't believe that adding a small little hotel to the side or a little inn to the side of that property expanding the yellow dog by that small amount that they're asking for, they will take great care of that river. People can really enjoy the river when they sit there at the yellow dog, and I've watched them take care. it. That's all I really want to say, is that I believe it. Thank
My name is Lloyd Barrett. I live at 1085 Hall Road in Malabar. I was chairman of the council in 1985 when we passed the first land use plan. So the reason y'all moved in here was because of the rules that we set back in those days.
Thank you.
But one of the things I learned when I sat on the council is you need to be reasonable with your zoning, which means you can't be exclusive, otherwise you'll get sued. So this is an excellent opportunity to allow this type of use here in the town of Malabar. The profile of the building that they're going to build is no taller than the yellow dog next door.
Mr. Mayor, we can't hear anything outside here. Please stop the meeting. Thank you.
You can do that, but you can't come in and yell at me.
For the folks outside, Lloyd Barrett, 1085 Hall Road, Malabar, been here since 1973, lived here since 81, chaired the council in 85 when we passed the first land use plan. I'm in favor of the project. I think that it's a very low impact. It shows the reasonableness of the town to allow different types of zoning. It's clean revenue for the town of Malabar. It would make an excellent eco-destination in keeping with the Sand Hill Crane Sanctuary that y'all just passed, 5-zip. The other project that we worked on together was that 190 acres of scrub jay property that you bought down in south because you were going to turn $900,000 away from the Air Force, and I convinced you to keep it so it didn't go to Sarasota. So anyhow, that's an aside though. This use, it's contiguous with the yellow dog. There's no other use like this in the town of Malabar, and I think that it's appropriate for y'all to continue to approve this zoning. Thank you.
Here comes 19. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Here comes 19. Sorry.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Lachlan Smith. I live at 133 Riverview Drive in Malabar. I'm strongly against this change of zoning for a number of reasons. First of all, over the years, the way things have been, gone about has been done very ethically wrong, I believe. Not to mention the impact on the river, with the vegetation being slowly taken away, with the access being slowly taken away. I basically was bullied off that property to be able to use it, which is unbelievable. But anyway, what I'm getting at is the impact that this is going to have on the river and the community is not good for the community as a whole. Okay, the corruption, the disturbance in the people is one thing. Okay, what scares me the most is the safety of the people. Okay, this whole scenario is very unsafe. Okay, if there were to be something that happened to an individual or family or something, and I go out there, I drive out there every day to bring my son to school. Okay, what scares me the most is if something happened and they had a decent lawyer, okay, who would they go after for? They'd figure out, okay, how did they get this approval for this situation? Okay? They may possibly go after the town of Malabar. Okay? Who is going to pay for that? The people, you guys, out of your pocket, who's going to pay for that lawsuit? Okay? Very, very important issue. Okay? You guys have to realize here that you are representing the people. It is opening up a situation that is going to be harsh for the environment, and it's going to be a possible fiasco construction-wise. That is a very, very big issue on this. And that's all I want to say.
Thank you. Now, Tony, thank you.
Good evening, I'm Virginia Foley. I live at 3851 Atlantic Ridge Lane in Grant, Florida. I own Berry Patch Preschool, 705 Malabar Road. My concern is property rights. Somebody buys a piece of property, they have a right to do things with it. I've been in a situation before where the county tried to take our rights away from us on a piece of property. If the town wants to designate something as coastal preserve, they can ensure that it stays that way by everybody getting together and buying the property, not by taking people's rights to do what they want to do with their own property away. I'm in favor of this project. Thank you.
I'm Dave Watto, I live in Indian Harbor Beach. I serve on the board as a volunteer of the Marine Resources Council. I was here before. The effect on the lagoon of this one piece is not going to be significant. But you know as well as I do that if you open this door, eventually that entire coastal corridor will build out. Maybe not next year, not even the second year, but eventually it will. Once it had built out, it will significantly add to the pollution in the lagoon in an aquatic preserve. People who are not in that kind of work don't understand the volume of water, of runoff water that runs into the lagoon now. It's in the mega millions. It's a huge volume of water. This property, which I understand totals close to 10 acres, when it is built out, will significantly add runoff pollution to the lagoon. I'm not going to give you a number because we haven't done a complete analysis, we didn't have the data, but it is very large. This property, using a very conservative ballpark estimate, will produce about 200,000 gallons of polluted runoff a year. That's one parcel. Your comprehensive plan says there are 90 parcels zoned coastal preserve. This was a brilliant move, as I said once before. It's a perfect buffer zone for the Malabar area. You're going to change that buffer zone where not now and not ever will produce runoff into the lagoon to add significant runoff to the lagoon. That's why we're here. We have opposed zoning changes over the past several months that have been just increases of density on a property because the developer wanted to add more homes because of their proximity to the lagoon, because of their topography, their soil characteristics, and other factors. We have opposed those changes just to increases. What you're asking is to take a pure and pristine buffer zone and develop it. And that is going to significantly.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I'd like to know the 200,000 gallons of polluted runoff that you're talking about. Okay, already it's a severe slope. So any rainwater that's hitting it is going right into the lagoon, correct?
Is it eroding?
I'm sorry.
Has it eroded?
Has it eroded?
Most of it is staying on the property. It's a buffer zone. It's on the water's edge, that's true. But what you're going to do is increase, of course there may be some runoff. It's normal land. But what you're going to do is increase it 100-fold.
I don't see how that could happen. Because right now, water on US 1 can work its way down that way. We've been very diligent in our trails and our stormwater treatment not to have anything go directly to the lagoon. It goes a long ways around. Man, Be more specific than that.
But if you put impervious surface east of the highway.
There is now. That's all we got is impervious surface.
Impervious surface?
Impervious, yes.
Impervious surface does not let the water run into the ground.
I know that.
Are you?
You've got that there now. What you've got is, there's an edge to that. They can go off. Right now, we're not gonna pollute them.
We're not going to solve.
There's already water and sewer there. All the way from
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking
That would be
about
extended.
Dave Montgomery, I live in Palm Bay. I lived across from the Edge and Yellow Dog for 15 years and worked at Harris Malabar. Now I'm retired and work full-time. I work full-time on lagoon restoration. The last speaker was a good segue. I'm here to talk about the stormwater runoff that is going into that sewer. I propose that the zoning not be approved based on the impact to the lagoon, negative impact to the lagoon. There is city water and sewer that could be hooked up to the property. Currently, in environmental terms, there's a soft shore concept going into the lagoon from the edge of the highway. There is a slope, the ground is permeable. A lot of the stormwater that will hit that property currently goes into the ground and is buffered from going directly into the lagoon. That's important for temperature and a variety of other reasons. I had some slides, but I won't be able to show this. Development of the property will create a hard interface to the estuary with an impermeable, basically impermeable surfaces across there. They can be routed. I don't know how that you would mitigate the impact to the lagoon health based on rerouting the stormwater effects in that small of an area. How that would be affected, I had some charts on that. I won't be able to show that, but currently we have a very fragile infrastructure in the lagoon. There's seagrasses that died off, and marine estuary life is very much degraded. When you hit the lagoon with stormwater in a direct sense, it affects the oxygenation level of the water, the pH level. The salinity is important to maintain a biological impact, balance in the lagoon. The temperature is very important. Stormwater has a very low temperature compared to the lagoon, and will go to the lowest layers of the lagoon and affect salt water, well, lagoon life at the bottom of the river. And also nitrogen, phosphorus, and petroleum products will be more prevalent in the stormwater runoff and not buffered by either settling into the ground or runoff into the lagoon through the natural vegetation cover of the current site. So, in my opinion, it'd be an inappropriate use of the property to develop it commercially and interrupt the current appropriate buffering that the current site does for the lagoon life directly off the edge of the water. So thank you for your time.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah, sure.
Right. This is the first I've heard about this water runoff, okay? But other development.
Yes, sir.
How do they address it?
So I had some great slides. Up the street, there's a lagoon house at Palm Bay, it's a city of Palm Bay Park. They did an appropriate job there. They've got a pond, they have enough room there, and the pond basically absorbs all the rainwater on the majority of that site. So it percolates down the ground and then it's released at the proper temperature and after some filtering through the ground into the river at that point. They do have a slope along the river too, and interesting enough, when they built the lagoon house, they put rock riprap down at the bottom of that slope, and the first storm that came along knocked that riprap out of there. So they established what's called a living shoreline with mangroves and other coastal plantings, and that's held up now for about 8 years. So a good example of the perfect conditions would be the lagoon house site that the Marine Resource Council has.
And so this lot is so small, we probably couldn't address such an issue.
Yeah, I've really thought about this a lot.
But there may be alternatives.
I haven't figured one out yet, though. I'll be concerned about that, and that's the issue there, is that the sewage, the water is good, but the storm water, it already hits an impaired estuary environment, and there's a lot of reasons why it would be hard to mitigate those impacts with a development project that would go in there. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any?
23, 24. I guess that's the end.
We have 28.
Maybe they're outside. 23 and 24.
I'm
Come on up. Come on. Whoever's in, just come on up. Please state your name. Good to see you.
Cindy Zindel, 1533 Weir Street, Malabar, Florida. I don't have much to say, but what I would like to say is that I would like to talk about property rights. You have a right to request a zoning change, and it's up to council to decide whether or not the zoning change is consistent with the comprehensive plan. And that's all I have to say. Thank you. Thank you.
24 through 28. Anyone? Come on up. Laura.
25. Oh, you can go ahead.
It doesn't matter. Just.
2475 Malabar Road, Lorna Honey. Malabar, Florida. I just want to address that we are not going to live forever. And there's been a lot of talk about what you perceive might be there, but the zoning will change forever. And so whatever gets built there, you don't know what's going to be built there after, and so on, forever. So just to keep that in mind, and I always like to, I really like to have the charter, the preamble, and all of that, and that's already been said. But it just really went to you to think about this is forever. The change will happen forever, and you don't know what's going to be there 50 years from now, 30 years from now. Thank you.
Hey everybody, my name is Dave Kello. I like to make a quiet scene every time I come to the house today.
Your address and
2850 Smith Lane, the heart of the glory of Malabar. The whole reason I know Dave. Last time I was here, I talked about fear, and honestly, really nothing's really changed here. There's just a bunch more people here talking about fear. Keep the grumbles to yourself. It's cool. I got a lot of respect for you, I promise. Because today I'm not here to talk about fear. I want to talk about value. Our area is flush with value. Phenomenal value. Actually, a lot of people in this room, the value that you've
addressed,
wonderful. You're also included in everybody. Phenomenal opportunity there as well. The value that's been brought to this area, a lot of us have experienced in the way of equity. The cool thing about equity is that it rises and falls, right? You know, it's the economy of scale that things change. Here's the thing though, the value that has been brought to Malabar has been brought in on the backs of people like us. We come in, we improve our properties, we invest in our homes, we invest in our families, we invest in our community. We're not only invested, but we are vested in the success of our community, right? That's where the value really comes from. Now, don't get me wrong, our economy has flowered and blossomed into something phenomenal, and Malabar has certainly been the recipient of some of that phenomenal value. We've not also been made exempt from the growth, and that's been made evident through the volume of new construction coming through the town. It seems that every time I stop by town hall just to make friends and say hello, there's always somebody making a phone call complaining that a neighbor's bringing in more dirt. What are you doing over there? You know, we're always so worried about everybody else. But we've seen many meetings and heard even more grumbles from the underbelly of everybody's favorite internet soapbox, complaining about all this growth. And much of what, ironically, typically draws crowds like this are only from people who are anti-growth. And the sad thing is that my generation, when I say my generation, I mean a generation of people who aren't typically involved in politics. We really despise these things. We hate coming to town council. We've got young kids, families. We're trying to do what everybody else is doing and raise families, okay? But most typically from people who've called Malabar home for years and years, these are the people who make the time to come out and make their voices heard, and we can all respect that. I can agree with some or even most of the principles from this crowd of people with whom I've gained my values from. Their tempered pessimism spoken from experience of harder times. Their resounding echoes of the days when holding doors for women and children and saying things like yes ma'am and no sir, they weren't considered tempests. My piece, thank you. The weight that this generation puts on a handshake is unrivaled and commands a level of respect earned by those generations. While I can respectfully agree, I am absolutely there. I pinky promise you. And I know that you like to switch things up, but I need your patience right now. While I can agree with the principles of high moral value that this generation brings, I try to raise my family with the same. We can't be so blind to the fact that the world is changing all around us. And right now, this isn't really about Yellow Dog. It's not really about land. It's about the critical opportunity that you as a town council, honestly, are faced with. Should you choose to continue to run in the next 1, 2, 3, 4 elections, this is a critical time. This is the changing of a guard and the changing of a chapter. The real question is, what do you want your legacy to be? Do you want to be the last one standing with your proverbial fires burning all around you while the code changes, the area changes? Or do you want to be the legacy, do you want to create a legacy where you said, this is where we define what these zones are, what the zoning needs to be, and everybody gets on the same plan with a master plan for the town of Malabar. You guys have gone back and forth on this for years and years. It's time to implement it. This isn't a war cry. This meeting is not a shot across the bow. But again, this is bigger than Yellow Dog, and while I'm not here in support or against Nancy or Stu, my whole reason for being here is as a real estate broker, I see the opportunity. Seriously, I'm not here for profit, and everybody on this board knows because I talk to every single one. Wonderful. As a real estate broker, I'm watching other towns do circles around you with less. You have an opportunity to change Malabar for the better, not to just ignore the growth. Good luck.
Anybody else? All right, I'll move on to
You understand that it's ultimately the council's decision, the legislative decision, whether or not they want to rezone the property based on the evidence presented. And, you know, very good time.
all right. Todd, do you have anything to add?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Todd Mount, your town planner. I don't have any other comments, but I'd be glad to answer any questions that you may have at this point.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Morris, do you have anything?
No, it's not about the land use and zoning.
Okay, we'll move on to our planning and zoning chairman.
You got somebody with a...
Bob Wilbur, please come up to the podium.
You need to speak up and state your name and address.
Bob Wilbur,
100 Carter Road, Oliver. Been on zoning for a long time, and has a trails. When we did the first comp plan, it was with a real quality plan. Us someone from Summer Associates, we had a lot of input from Diane Berlin, the Resource Council, and Harvard Haynes, Glenn DeFreeze, a lot of people that pointed in the direction of preserving this coastal preserve area and development. Now that we have a scenic highway, I think it's even more imperative to preserve this zoning district. And if you look hard and long at changing this to a CG zoning categorization, it could possibly open up the doors to anything that may not be proposed preservation or leasing. And I think coastal